4 mistakes you may be making when it comes to increasing your visibility. Have you ever burnt out because you was doing all the things? Have you ever felt like you've been inauthentic when it came to delivering your offer or your solutions to your ideal audience? Have you ever felt that something was just off and you just couldn't put your finger on it? In this video, I want to talk about the 4 mistakes that may be stopping you from being truly visible, and then I'm going to give you some solutions that are going to help you to move forward. My name is Ruth Ellen. Welcome to the S.H.E channel, where we shift, heal and expand, and my job is to help you to do just that when it comes to showing up unapologetically. Now, one of the things that I'm going to talk about first is why it happens. Now, normally when we think about visibility, we think of it as this thing where we just kind of increase it. We show up more and more places. We let our audience know that we're going to be there at certain times, and we do it consistently. But there's a psychology behind it. There's an emotional intelligence behind it that's been often forgotten for such a long time that people aren't necessarily talking about. They're not talking about the emotional intelligence behind visibility. It's not just about being confident and faking it till you make it. There's so many other layers that are involved in this journey. And so today's video is all about mistakes that happen and how you can move forward. But just to give you a bit of context, just to know that everyone's gone through it. Let's normalize it for a little bit and let you know that there is a way forward. So the first one is not being your true self. And you're probably thinking, but this is who I am. This is probably who you think you are. This is who you are probably socially conditioned to be. This is probably who your coach says that you should be, or what you've read online to say this is who you should be in order to garner the clients that you want to attract. But your true self is you, all of you, every single element, the parts that you don't even admit to having. It's the dark side, the shadow side, and the light side. The side that you show the world anyway. And so, let's be real. The reason why you're not being your true self is because you're trying to show people what you think they want to see. And there's parts of you that is almost crying out to say, hey, this is also me. And so, being your true self is what visibility really is. It's about acceptance of all. So the mistake is that people just don't do it. They don't want to be judged. They want to be told they're weird or odd. But here's the deal. The people that you need to attract, the people that are your soulmate clients, will accept every crevice of you, every element of you. The people that you're trying to fool to be attracted to who you are, those are the people that you don't actually want. Those are the people that are going to give you headache. The people that are going to just you're going to feel judged by them. And you want a judge-free environment to do the best work you can. Because when you are not accepting of self, there is no way on earth you can accept your clients and their issues that come up for them and hold space in a container. So the solution to that is to actually learn to accept yourself. And you can do things like shadow work for that. And you can work with tarot to work through that. You can do use oracle cards as well, angel cards. You can journal. There's so many different ways that you can embrace the shadow, embrace the triggers, and love them without breaking down, without crying through it, the process. So that's the first thing, being your true self and doing that inner work. The second thing, which actually leads onto once you know your true self, is to take aligned action. Now, most people are like, I'm doing the work, I'm hustling, I'm grinding, I'm doing. You're doing all the things, but here's the thing, aligned action is sometimes that time when you are just resting. You aren't actually doing anything because that is the work. The work is the rest. The work is the being able to have the space to think, the space to be, because that's when your best ideas come to you. And that's when you are ready to be in flow and take that aligned action. Whenever you have action you're procrastinating on, there is something in there, something inside that is just not aligning up. And there's a misalignment perhaps with the core values that you're articulating in the content that you want to share. But there's a reason why you haven't shared what you really need to share with your core audience. And so when it comes to taking aligned action, if you are experiencing procrastination, which is a manifestation of something much bigger, it's a manifestation, it's not the cause, right? There's a root cause as to why you are not taking action. There's a underlying thing that you need to look at. Like, what is it? Why have you still got a vow to play small? And why is it that you don't want to share that piece of content? Perhaps you don't actually believe in this content. You believe it's I've got to do content. I should do content, right? And so there's a massive difference between, this is my heartfelt content that I truly believe in, that connects my soul to your soul, and I truly get it and love it, and I'm giving it to you as a servitude, and I don't care about the numbers. I just want to communicate with you, connect with you, talk to you, let you know, right? Between that heartfelt content and content that is like, well, I've been told to write a top 10 list to share my story, and so that's what I'm going to do, but I'm not really comfortable doing it. It's a different vibe, completely different vibe. So taking aligned action is all about knowing the difference and then getting into the state where you can take aligned action because you are actually honoring who you are and you're being your true self, and that content matches up. There is no, my mind says something different to my heart says something different to my gut. There's alignment, all of it. Next one is, which I've done so many times, there's times when I have to stop and like, what are you doing? Burning out and not implementing systems. Well, I've just given some of the answer. People burn out because they're doing all the things, right? And doing everything. They're on every social channel you can think of. And if they're not on every social channel that you can think of, they're on the social channel day in, day out, and they are putting in loads of work. They are hustling. Not just hustling. It's a different type of hustle. It's like, my life depends on this. And it's almost like you believe your business is your source of your money. That's the only way you can generate cash. And whatever project or whatever offer you're working on, you're like, this has to work, this has to work, this has to work, this has to work. And it's like you're almost strangling your business to give you what you believe it needs to give you back. And it's just not a healthy thing, because you're literally just burning the candle at both ends instead of implementing systems and working in flow, or even you're working against your human design. Now, everyone's got a unique DNA which works with them, which works for them. And when you know the best environment that you work in, the best way you manifest, the best way that you build relationships and you receive love, that's going to make a massive difference compared to not knowing any of that and just kind of going against what works best for you. Again, you're out of alignment, right? And so burning out is it's almost like you are punishing yourself and saying you're not good enough. Whatever I've done isn't good enough. And not trusting the processes that you can put in place to actually do the job. To believe that being busy equals the money you're going to generate. Or being busy equals my level of worthiness. If I'm not busy enough, then I'm not worthy. Can you hear that? Can you hear the disconnect there? If I'm not busy enough, I'm not worthy of receiving. That's not healthy. And that is a sure way road to always burning out. So readjusting that and reframing that and working on that's going to help you shadow work. Do that. The other thing that I've got, I'm just going to look at my notes because surely, is having practices. Spiritual practices for me are just practices, but if you want to call them spiritual practices, call them spiritual practices. Doesn't matter if you call them Bob, Harry, Debbie, Martha, the fact is names are irrelevant, right? The point is you've got something that helps you to have radical self-care. It's not just a set and forget thing, like I do a journal one day and the next day I forget it, one day I do meditation, next day I don't. That's so scattered, right? We're talking about mixing up your spiritual practices with routines that work for you, but knowing that not all routines will work for you on every single day of the week. Knowing what works for you, full stop. Knowing what raises your vibration so that it could be an energetic match for what it is you desire. Because if you're not an energetic match, you go back into burnout mode because you'll be thinking you're not doing enough. And so having spiritual practices help you to also have correct energy hygiene. So you have an empty vessel. There's a Zen poem or a parable that says, you know, that there's a guy that came over to somebody's house and he was pouring him tea, and he kept on pouring and pouring and pouring. The guy said, "Stop, what are you doing?" He goes, "I'm pouring." He goes, "Yeah, but now this is messy." He goes, "Well, this is not word for word, by the way." He goes, "Yeah, it was messy." He goes, "Yeah, but I cannot pour and I cannot give to you if you're already full with stuff." Right? Spiritual practices, if you didn't get the idea of this, I'm going to break it down. Spiritual practices are about you emptying yourself, your ego, so you can be that vessel, and you can work from a place of I am serving, I am on a mission, and anything that other people have given to me throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, or whatever else isn't within me. I've cleared my energetic field. There is no body controlling me in one way or another, or programming my mind, and I'm connected to source, because source is my source, right? That's who I'm getting the money from. All of these other channels are the sort of the gates, right? You're providing these channels. The business is a channel, and different products and services in the business are channels to be able to receive, but the main source is actually the universe, right? It's not a client per se, it's universal life force. So when you implement these spiritual practices, you'll understand more about ease. You'll be more of the river, in the river, where you're able to just let go, surrender, not see time as a construct that's holding you back. So these are 4 things. So just to reiterate, know who you are and choose to be accepting of all parts of you. Take aligned action with compassion. Implement spiritual practices and make sure you're having energy hygiene, and set up systems so that you're not burning out. Those are the 4 things that you can be doing today, so you're not making those mistakes again and again. And I say these 4 things because it all comes down to visibility, emotional intelligence, right? Emotional intelligence runs throughout the whole thread of this. And I want you to understand this as well. It's real easy for it to be said and just be like, yeah, just go ahead, just go do it. Just put those 4 things in place, you'll be fine. But I know that it can be challenging to actually implement. Take the information. To see a transformation, you need to do the implementation. So I've got a challenge that is open. You can get a taste of how to implement these 4 parts of the quadrant. And then I'm blatantly going to be like, this is my offer. You can then decide for yourself. As an invitation, this is my offer to my visibility, unapologetically visible program. And runs for 30 days and helps you with all these things. Again, the link's going to be below. But the bottom line is, this is your decision. You get to decide. You get to decide the type of business you have. You get to decide the joy you bring to it. And so if you are in that decision-making mode, then great. Click the links below. Find out how you can move forward. Other than that, that's it. I appreciate you watching, taking time, making notes. And I will see you on the other side of the challenge or on a call to make sure that you are showing up in the way that is aligned to you. Thank you for watching.